Hello, welcome to the final session of the European AI Policy Conference. You've made it until here. We hope you have enjoyed today and that you managed to follow the sessions that interested you, and maybe all of them. We have learned a lot from the keynotes, panels, workshop sessions, with great speakers who have shared their interesting work and their expertise so generously today. Many things are worth emphasizing. I just picked some of the things that stood out to me as I listened through. What is clear is that the EU has a big task ahead. Some messages were hard to ignore. We heard that if we frame AI as a race, Europe is unfortunately lagging behind. And our participants also agreed, 91% of you thought Europe is definitely not winning that race. But we heard also, when you look at some specific markets like industrial AI, things are actually looking good. And Europe is good at developing and commercializing technologies in industrial systems, but it really needs to foster a similar pipeline for AI and data innovation. Also, we've heard how the diversity of the EU is one of the opportunities and key strengths that the bloc can count on and should really invest in. And if Europe wants to be a leader in AI, it needs to build capacities by attracting talent and fostering networks of innovation. Talent will be key. Many speakers agreed. For instance, it's really important that we have even just down to courts of justice would need computer science expertise there. So there's also a big topic that came back and surfaced many times among participants and discussants. Now, to the regulation, while the role of a regulation and objective seems to be, according to some panelists, it should involve building trust. Our speakers have recalled that we should not underestimate the costs that requirements like AI transparency and accountability can mean for businesses. And we need to balance the costs with the usage that these efforts merit. And the EU already does have a complicated legal structure and existing rules that we should be looking at and assess before going through with more. I think this was mentioned by a few speakers, including MEP Axel Voss. AI is already regulated through privacy laws, labor laws, and more, as some speakers like Magda of the European Tech Alliance cautioned. Yet the EU produces AI talent, but many people doing academic AI research seem to be leaving because of overregulation. So some of our guests across the board, including policymakers, academics, industry representatives today, mentioned that we may not need a massive set of AI regulations, but we also probably don't want it. We've heard strong and inspiring words, I have to say, from our keynote speakers and panelists. For instance, that if the goal is to develop competitive AI that we can sell globally, then it cannot only work just in Europe for Europe. We need to boost investment in AI R&D in areas where European companies can make a difference and can scale up. And it should be about creating an environment that is conducive to innovation, grounded on facts and realities, and we need to address issues proportionately and appropriately without stopping or slowing down innovations. I think Dita Charansova and the MEP we heard in the opening remarks mentioned how all actions have risks, and AI and innovation will include some risks that the EU should be willing to take, but that the devil will be very much in the detail when it comes to regulating. We've heard that conformity assessments should be examined with caution, as they may lead to delays in costs and present a real barrier to innovation, and that this should be the exception and not the rule. And another important point that was made was that we need to clearly define applications and areas as a way forward for the work of the Commission. We did hear that the advantages of the framework that's on the table does include establishing legal certainty, ensuring citizens' trust, and helping national authorities properly uptake the regulation consistently across the EU. So overall, the EU should adopt AI legislation that enhances the digital single market. I think that's something that is repeatedly said on our events and the events of others. And we also need an AI legislation that aligns with global allies like the OECD AI principles, like the GPAI or GPI, depending on how you pronounce it. In specific sectors, also we've heard the importance to look at the uses of AI, and rather than regulating the technology, examine the uses. And in sectors like healthcare, if Europe wants to take part in the digital transformation, I've heard one speaker, Matthias Goyen of GE Healthcare, say that we need to create policies that enable this, and that starts and that ends with how the health data is managed. We've also explored what AI looks like currently and for the future in the sectors of mobility and financial services. These are other sectors that are set to benefit hugely from advances in AI. Another part that I wanted to bring up is about companies, how industry is committed to developing fair, transparent, robust, and accountable AI systems. AI is hugely important and strategic for many sectors, we heard. It's a necessary investment in e-commerce, for instance, to ensure you have personalized recommendations. We've heard from Zalando. Companies use AI to connect, protect, and empower people. We've heard from Facebook, and we also heard from Google, Fernanda Viegas, mentioning how Google is investing in Europe, like many other companies, because of its strength, like a thriving developer community and world-class universities. Industry is also aware of the challenges of using AI, and it's trying to steer digital progress in the right direction. It's working on overcoming these, and that is actually also enabled with AI, from data visualization to foster transparency and user understanding of complex AI systems, from that to content moderation online. We talked about data, of course, key to AI. And the broader digital ecosystem depends on cooperation to facilitate global data flows. Speakers have agreed, it seems, that it'd be important to ensure secure and trustworthy data flows through common technical specifications and responsible governance. It will be important to incentivize both private companies and the public sector to make data available and accessible. Governments must also facilitate cross-border movement of data. In particular, it's critical, we've heard many times, for the EU, the US, and Canada, of course, as we mentioned, the transatlantic relation, to come together to make sure responsibility is really at the heart of digital innovation. There's unfortunately, we've heard also already enough business uncertainty in today's context. So we need an early resolution for a new agreement, particularly between the EU and the US, working together towards a clear, consistent, and transparent data transfer regime so we can build the confidence and enable technologies like AI. The hope is also that the EU and the UK will continue to collaborate. So just one last word on what we've heard today. I think close partnerships with economic allies seem to be the way to go to foster the development and use of AI by pooling resources and increasing investments. And in this, preserving our core and common values is really at the core. And today we've heard that many have called for Europe not to do this on its own. So there's plenty to reflect and act upon. And if this in any way has enhanced our contributions to the challenges and discussions on AI policy and governance, then I would say this conference can be judged a success. Of course, one day is not enough. The conference process is not over yet. Actually, you can still pay a visit to the expo until 6:30 p.m. CET, so a little bit less than 45 minutes. And then we will follow up with you with material capturing the insights gathered today. We'll have videos of keynotes and panels. They're now up actually on our YouTube channel, and I believe the breakout sessions videos will be posted later. You can also access that through the conference website, aipolicyconference.org. Now we're looking forward to seeing which directions will AI policy and governance take in the EU and beyond. Please continue to follow our work and engage with us. It's something I very much enjoy when I see people come back to our events. Now, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to all of you for taking the time out of your busy duties to participate in the conference. We would like to thank all of our presenters and attendees who have joined this conference from various corners of the world, hopefully, and also to their teams who played a key role in making this happen too and coordinating with us. We hope that through today's presentations, interactions and discussions, you connected with each other, you gathered useful insights, gained new knowledge, food for thought, and fuel for action. This event is a small contribution to discussing an important topic that matters for the future of our economies and our societies, and we hope that it's been valuable for all of you. We would like to thank once more our sponsors, Here Technologies, Booking.com, Zalando, FiscalNote, Allegro, Vodafone, the European Tech Alliance, Visa, Workday, Google, Facebook, GE Healthcare, Ada Health, Allied for Startups, and MSD. Thank you as well to our media and knowledge partners, One Policy Place, Renaissance Numérique, MLEX, the Internet Economy Foundation, EU Insider, ITP Europe, and CEPIS, and EU Reporter. And some of these institutions are not just based in Brussels. It was quite wonderful to work together across border, if I may say so. Thank you finally to our program committee members for your ideas, your professional friendship, and valuable feedback over the months. It has been a privilege to be entrusted by such eminent people from different sectors, different fields. Finally, I would like to personally thank my team at the Center for Data Innovation, my colleagues who have ensured that the conference proceeded smoothly today. I hope you will have a peaceful rest of the day, and to you all as well, a peaceful end of the year, and hopefully we will meet in 2021, which I hope will be a better year. Thank you all very much. See you soon.